This series is made in collaboration with NordVPN. If you want to watch movies or series that are not available in your country, please click on the link in the description or go to nordvpn.com/superkevintran to get an exclusive discount and a 30-day trial. Hi everyone! Last time we talked about Chinese language, so by now you should be fluent, right? There were definitely a lot of information to digest, but it was necessary for today's episode. Don't worry, Chinese poems may seem mysterious on the outside, but by the end of this vid, you'll be an expert. Sort of. Let's go. 1. Structure. Do you remember back in Vine days, there was a vine that looked like this? I couldn't find the original one, so I had to reshoot it. Now, let's transform this vid into a 4-panel comic strip. Panel 1, the couple is walking. Panel 2, the guy stops, and all of a sudden, panel 3, he kneels. Just 2. Panel 4, tie his shoes. And she's pissed. In Japan, this is called a yonkoma manga. Yon means 4, koma means panel, and manga, well, frivolous drawing. And Japanese artists have produced millions of those.
Why are you talking about all that? I thought the vid was about Chinese poems.
Patience, Henry! That's why he's a failure. In regular Western 4-panel comic strips, there is no rule about how to divide your story into 4 parts. Basically, as long as the reader likes it, it works. But in yonkoma manga, you often follow a structure called Kishōtenketsu. Ki means start, introduction. It's the setup of your story. Sho means development. Your initial situation naturally evolves. Ten means twist. Something unexpected happens. And ketsu means conclusion. It's how your story ends. In this narrative structure in 4 parts, Kishōtenketsu is directly inspired by the structure of ancient Chinese poems called 起承转合. 起, same character, same meaning, just a different pronunciation in Chinese. The same for 承, it means carry on, so it's the development. 转 means turn. There's a change, a twist. And 合 means reunion, assembling everything back together. Conclusion.
Oh! Wait, what?
Let me explain. 2. Tang poems. To illustrate the significance of this 起承转合 structure, there's no better way than to show you guys an actual poem. Under the Tang dynasty, they had no PS5 nor Nintendo Switch, so their main occupation was writing poems of 4 lines with 5 words each. The one I chose is called 春晓. It's a very famous poem about the beauty of spring, and everybody in China knows it. It goes, 春眠不觉晓，处处闻啼鸟，夜来风雨声，花落知多少。 So remember, the first line is the setup. During spring, I sleep so deep, I can't sense the morning. Everywhere I hear birds singing. Last night was windy and rainy. Who knows how many flowers fell? This poem is so beautiful and famous in China. There's even a parody that's almost as famous as the original, and I'm gonna read it to you. 春天不洗澡，处处蚊子咬，夜来大狗熊，谁也逃不了。If you don't take showers during spring, everywhere mosquitoes are gonna bite you. At night comes a bear, nobody survives. And what's funny is, even the parody respects the 起承转合 structure. That's how deep and important it is. So now you're like, I know the structure, I learned the poem, I even heard the parody. I can just go ahead and learn all the most famous Tang poems. But wait, it's not that simple. 3. Delivery. You may have noticed when I read 春晓 or its parody, I used certain intonations. In fact, you can't just recite the Chinese poem the way you want. You have to know where you can be energetic and where you need to be calm. Let's study together a second Tang poem. 静夜思. It means quiet night thoughts. And I will read it to you guys without any intonation, just a neutral tone. 床前明月光，疑是地上霜。举头望明月，低头思故乡. See? There's no flavor in it. It's boring. You can't deliver a masterpiece by Li Bai like that. Let's try to understand this poem and add a little more life to it. So it's a poem about being away from home, missing your loved ones. In the first line, you're setting the scene, so you're calm. But remember, you also feel alone, so people need to hear it in your voice. Before my bed, there's moonlight. I wonder if it's frost on the ground. I look up towards the moon and look down. missing my family. See, that third line is often the toughest to play because it depends a lot on the interpretation each one has. The full moon in China symbolizes family reunion, and because it's Zhuan, the twist, my understanding is he felt very lonely in the first two lines, and then he looked at the moon as if he was hoping to see his family somewhere in the sky. But when he realizes they're not here, he's sad again. You can have different interpretations. Some will say he just realized there was nothing on the floor, so he looked up. Others will think that he wasn't that sad. He was coming home soon, and looking at the moon made him feel better. And maybe they're right. At the end of the day, only Li Bai knows. I'll ask him next time we see each other. In Chinese, I would play it like that. 床前明月光，疑是地上霜。举头望明月。低头思故乡。 4. Congratulations! By now, you know everything about Chinese poems from the Tang dynasty with 4 lines of 5 words. Good job! If it was basketball, it would be the equivalent of knowing how to make a layup. There are plenty of other structures. You got 8 lines of 5 words, 4 lines of 7, poems from the Song dynasty, you got the famous one about Mulan, and also poems that don't respect any structure and don't even rhyme. But we don't have time for this today. There's already a lot to absorb. If you have really understood this vid, I have a question for you. Have you noticed while watching that I have written this video respecting 起承转合? I started with some theory to introduce you to the structure. The development of theory is application, so I showed you an example with 春晓. But wait, there are rules to this. You can't just deliver a Chinese poem the way you want. And now that we're at the end, you have the global picture. See you next time to continue our journey to the East. Peace! Thank you for watching this video. Do you know that streaming platforms, websites, and applications show things differently from country to country? You may see your friends living abroad having access to new movies or series, while you don't, even on the same platform, or them having access to free content on websites that are blocked where you live. To enjoy a free internet and get the best out of it, comes helping us NordVPN, which also supported the creation of the first 3 episodes of Journey to the East. So thanks to them. All you have to do is change your virtual location with a click. The USA to get the Disney Plus movies in advance, South Korea to get the best dramas on Netflix, or Belgium to get your sports events for free. Those are only a few of the 60 countries available. Avoid buffering, no more bandwidth throttling. Stream securely with amazing speed right now. Check out NordVPN's exclusive deal here at nordvpn.com/SuperKevinTran. It is risk-free thanks to their 30 days money-back guarantee. Enjoy!